What's up, everybody? Thanks so much for stopping by and welcome to another episode of Retro Game Haul. This video we're going to be taking a look at my pickups for the month of August. We're going to be splitting this into two parts. I'm going to kind of make that a trend from here on out going forward. Part one is typically going to be games and things like that. Little trinkets and whatnot, and part two is going to be reserved for consoles, accessories, boxed item, things like that. So without any further ado, what do you say we go ahead and jump right into the games, and I'll show you guys what I picked up this month. So let's kick things off with some loose carts. This month I got a couple of NES carts. First would be Mappyland, second would be The Legend of Zelda. I know I'm going to lose a lot of gamer cred for this one, guys, but I actually did not own this cart before now. For no particular reason really other than that it's a really common cart. They've sold so many of these things. The price notwithstanding, the price doesn't really reflect the rarity of this item. It more reflects the demand. Everybody wants the original Zelda game, and I just kind of put it off, again and again and again, just buying it because it's so easy to find. And I actually got this in a trade with my good friend, the Icy One, over on YouTube. You can check out a link to his channel. My buddy Tommy, who you've seen here on Retro Game Lounge, just started his own channel. Go down there, click his channel, check him out. He's a really funny dude, puts out really awesome content. Like I said, we worked out a trade with this. We just kind of bartered items, and I'd always rather do that, actually, than pay for something. I'd always rather give something to a fellow collector and have them give me something back, just kind of spreading the love, so to speak. That's always been my preferred means of commerce when it comes to the collecting business. I'm sure a lot of you collectors out there will understand that. Next, we got some Super Nintendo carts. We got Samurai Shodown. Got that one for $1. Definitely one of the ones you need to have. I'm not a perfect translation of the arcade simulator. You definitely need a Neo Geo for that, but for $1, it's definitely worth a playthrough, especially if you've got a joystick to play it like the Super Advantage. Next up, we got a game that actually goes with a box that you saw here previously on Retro Game Haul, RoboCop vs. the Terminator. So basically all I need, so now that I've got the box, which is the coolest box you've ever seen, by the way, now I've got the game, now all I need to do is track down the manual. Just work on piecing these things together one at a time. Next up, we got my only Sega CD pickup for the month. We got Surgical Strike, which is from the folks over at, I don't know if you can see that, but it says True Video. The guys who did Night Trap, Sewer Shark, I think, a lot of these things, where it's full motion video and all this other kind of B-grade movie cheesiness where, it's real actors, it's real video, and you're kind of interacting with a playable movie, so to speak. Not really great games by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely kind of fun in a hokey sort of way. Kind of like watching Sharknado, I guess. Next up, we got some Game Boy games. Got Go-Go Tank, Nemesis, which is basically the Game Boy version of Gradius, Donkey Kong Land, gotta love that banana yellow cart, Alleyway, which is basically Arkanoid, Nintendo Tennis, and Nintendo Baseball. So next up we got a few more modern games. Picked up Wii Fit here from Goodwill. I think they let this go for $1.99. Just a good pack-in, if you've got the Wii Fit balance board and you don't have the game, to go inside the box, for $1.99, you can go ahead and throw it in there. Got BioShock Infinite for Xbox 360. Picked this up on a Microsoft special, I think, for $10. Considering that the game hasn't been out that long and it's won all kinds of awards and stuff, and I hear it's a really good game. I've liked the previous two BioShock games, so looking forward to checking this one out. Got a few original Xbox games up next. We've got Midway Arcade Treasures Volume 2. All kinds of good games on this one. I mean, I'm going to cheat a little bit right off the back, but you got Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, you got Gauntlet 2, Spy Hunter 2, Zybots, Narc. Let's see, Total Carnage, Pit Fighter, or Shit Fighter as it's more commonly known, Xenophobe, Primal Rage, Arch Rivals, Rampage World Tour. I mean, you got all kinds of good stuff on here for just $1.99 that I paid for it at the Goodwill. I mean, you've got like, what, 20-something games on here? 20, mostly pretty good games, actually. So anytime you can pick up like a kind of compilation like this, a greatest hits, it's really a good, fun, and easy and cheap way to get the games you want to play. Got Burnout Revenge for Xbox. Definitely a fun game. Second, as I mentioned the last Retro Game Haul, second to the second version, the director's cut, or developer's cut, excuse me, of Burnout 2. That's still my favorite Burnout game, but this one, it's got the crash mode stuff that you can do, where you can, detonate the car, causing the biggest accident you can possibly come up with, revenge and all that other stuff. I mean, this was definitely the one that introduced Burnout to the more modern era of Burnout. Got out of just the straight up racing, crashing stuff. This made crashing like the focal point of the game, so to speak. So definitely worth picking up. Got another arcade compilation. We got Tecmo Classic Arcade. Man, dude, this one has got a lot of great ones on it. I mean, you got Tecmo Bowl, you got Mighty Bomb Jack, you got Rygar, you got Star Force, Solomon's Key, Strato Fighter, Pinball Action, Swimmer, Techno Cup. I mean, it's like there's so many great things on here. I cannot stress this enough, guys. Whenever you can pick up these compilations, it's always a blast to do so, and you can usually do them for pretty cheap. I think eventually these are going to become pretty valuable. And lastly, for Xbox, we got what I feel is probably one of the greatest wrestling games ever made for one very distinguished reason. We got Raw 2 for the Xbox. The reason I say that this one stands out above the rest is the way that you can customize in the Create a Wrestler system, your intros that you can customize. You can actually use your own music, which you could rip to the hard drive, on the original Xbox. You could use your own tunes to create your wrestler's entrance. Of course, they won't let you do that now, and that totally sucks. At least last time I checked, they won't let you do that. That's kind of the reason why I checked out of wrestling games. But this one definitely took it to another level, timing your pyro down to the 10th of a second so it hits when the music pops and all that other stuff. The backstage brawls, the career mode, where you get in fights, go on dates and all this other stuff. It's really sweet to be able to do that kind of thing. So definitely go ahead and pick this one up if you're a fan of wrestling games. Got a pair of GameCube games next. Goldeneye, Rogue Agent. Kind of not really a sequel to the original Goldeneye, more like a spin-off. In this one you're basically playing the bad guy, a villain who's a former, I think, MI6 agent. He's got a golden eye, literally he's got an implant in his eye that lets him see stuff. And you get to team up with a lot of the original Bond villains, like Dr. No and Odd Job, Goldfinger, stuff like that. And you just kind of get to live through the Bond world while being the bad guy, which is kind of cool. Never actually played this one, so I'm looking forward to getting a chance to sitting down and checking it out. Next up, we got Spawn Armageddon. I actually haven't played this one. Based on the original comics by Todd McFarlane, I understand he actually contributed the story for this particular game. It's mainly based on the comics, issues 1 through 99 of the original Spawn storyline. Definitely used to read that a lot when I was a kid, so I'm looking forward to checking this one out. Next up, we got a stack of PlayStation 2 games. We got Marvel Ultimate Alliance. These are definitely getting harder to find, guys. This isn't the version that I would have liked to get. I would have preferred the one for Xbox 360, I believe, that came with all the extra stuff like the Hulk and all the extra add-ons. Those have definitely gone up in price because the downloadable content for that is no longer available. So if you find one of these in a Goodwill, even if it's not the collector's version, super version, or whatever, you can get it for a few bucks. Go ahead and grab it, because these have been going way up in price, and they're definitely worth a playthrough. These are some of the better Marvel games ever made. We got Rampage Total Destruction. Man, who doesn't love a Rampage game? I mean, it's just so fun to grab, a couple of your buddies, you get to be gigantic monsters and freaking destroy a city, like King Kong and Godzilla and whatnot, teaming up and just jacking up a city, eating people and stuff, stomping on buildings. Man, that's just a really good time. Got Guilty Gear X. Found this one in one of my local secondhand stores. Pretty much anytime you can get a Guilty Gear game, which is a really cool animated style fighting game for, what, I paid $5 for this thing. Guilty Gear, you really can't go wrong. That, Darkstalkers, Art of Fighting, and any of that stuff. Fatal Fury, those are just a lot of fun. These are really cool games to collect. Next up, we got one that I'm not sure there's a lot that I can do with. We have Resident Evil Outbreak. Last I checked, the servers for this aren't up anymore, and it actually requires a broadband connection to be able to play, because it was online only. But I figured, for the $5 I paid for it, I love collecting Resident Evil games. Maybe it'd just be kind of a cool, weird addition to the Resident Evil collection. Last for PS2, we got Mega Man X7. Anytime you can get a Mega Man game for $10, you're definitely doing pretty well. Didn't really get too much into Mega Man X games when I was younger. Played a few of them, but definitely didn't get as far up as 7. But just another addition to the Mega Man collection. So next up, we got some PS1 games. All the following PS1 games I'm about to show you I got from Goodwill. They just had a stack of them, and I pretty much took them all. Critical Depth, Crash Bandicoot 2, Destruction Derby 2, Resident Evil Director's Cut, and the original Driver game, one of my favorite driving games of all time. Next up, we got a few loose manuals that I picked up along the way. We got one for the NES Advantage, Werewolf, so this will go nicely with the NES cart that I have. Now I just need the box. Mappy Land, got the manual, so that'll go with the cart that I showed you earlier. Mystery Quest, again, that'll go with the Mystery Quest cart that I picked up not too long ago. And not exactly a manual, just kind of a trinket to go along with something. The Super Mario Galaxy little collector's coin that they released when Super Mario Galaxy came out. Just thought that'd be a cool addition to the Nintendo collection. Next, we got some loose boxes I picked up. We got Rival Turf. Some of you might remember that was the very first episode of Retro Game Lounge with Chuck and myself, the very first game we played. I know I say this a million times, guys, I sound like a broken record, but whenever I can pick up a box for cheap, especially if it's a game I already have, I just go ahead and jump on it. Even if it's a game I don't have, might need it in a trade, or just, give it away to another collector who needs it. And Rival Turf is definitely one I've been after for a while. And from the same vendor, I got Eye of the Beholder, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. So I got a couple special boxes here that I picked up from the same vendor. We got Mario Party 6 and 7, the big box that came with the cartridge and the microphone. And to go with at least one of those, I got the box and manual. I just need to get the disc for this for Mario Party 6. And I got the microphone to go with it. I'm working on tracking the stuff for Mario Party 7 down as well. Next up, we got something I think a lot of people overlook for Super Nintendo collectors, and really a lot of other different game collectors, is the inserts that go inside the boxes, particularly for things like Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and stuff like that, which are the little inserts that actually hold the game in place when you put it inside the box. These are repros, but as far as I'm concerned, guys, stuff like that doesn't really affect value. I don't really think most collectors, at least I don't, really care if the little insert thingy is original. And as a matter of fact, I'd rather have a new one. Just to kind of clean the game up, hold the shape of the box a little bit better. And I picked up a handful of these, I think, for a couple of dollars from an eBay vendor that I was buying some other stuff for, so I can insert them into my my complete and boxed Super Nintendo games over there and just kind of complete the box. So that about does it for part 1 of my August pickups here on Retro Game Haul. In part 2, which you'll see a link to in your description box below, we're going to cover the consoles, boxed items, accessories, all kinds of great stuff, man. I got so much stuff that I want to show you. I just could not fit it into one video, so I'm going to split it into part 2 so we don't have any more super long videos. Try and keep these short and sweet for you guys, at least as best I can. Well, thank you everyone so much for watching. Go ahead and click the link below to check out part 2. I'll see you next time. Until all my fellow gamers, retro or not, game on.